It was the end of the semester, and students from Greenfield University were eagerly preparing to return home for the long holiday. Among them was Tobi, a bright and ambitious student who was known for his cheerful personality. As Tobi packed his bags, his roommate, Connor, reminded him to pray before embarking on the trip. Tobi laughed it off, saying, "Connor, it's just a 3-hour drive. Nothing will happen." Connor, a deeply spiritual young man, warned him, "Life can be unpredictable, Tobi. A simple prayer could make all the difference." But Tobi was too focused on catching his bus to listen. As he boarded, he waved goodbye to Connor, oblivious to the twists and turns the day had in store. The journey started smoothly, with passengers chatting and sharing snacks. Tobi plugged in his headphones and drifted into a light nap. About an hour into the trip, dark clouds began to gather, and the once bright day turned ominously gray. As rain began to pour, the bus driver's voice broke through the passengers' chatter. "Please, everyone, fasten your seatbelts. The road ahead looks rough." Tobi, still unconcerned, tightened his belt and went back to scrolling through his phone. Little did he know, the worst was yet to come. The storm intensified, and visibility became a challenge. The driver tried to navigate carefully, but a sharp bend on the slippery road caught him off guard. The bus skidded and came to a halt just inches from a steep cliff. Passengers screamed, and chaos ensued. Tobi's heart raced as he realized how close they had come to disaster. For the first time that day, he silently whispered a prayer, thanking God for their safety. The event left him shaken, but the journey wasn't over. With the bus unable to move, the driver announced that they needed to wait for assistance. Hours passed, and tension grew among the passengers. Suddenly, a lone car approached, and an elderly man stepped out, offering to help. The man seemed to radiate calmness and wisdom. "You all need to stay calm," he said. "I help contact a mechanic and ensure you're all safe." He then shared an inspiring story about how praying before his journeys had saved him countless times. His words lingered in Tobi's mind. As the passengers waited, Tobi found himself reflecting on the man's story. He thought about Connor's advice and how dismissive he had been. Could a simple prayer have changed the course of his day? Tobi felt a mix of regret and gratitude. He realized that he had taken his safety for granted, relying on his plans rather than divine protection. For the first time in a long while, he made a promise to himself to prioritize prayer. After hours of waiting, the bus was finally repaired, and the journey continued. This time, the atmosphere was different. Many passengers were silently praying or reflecting on their lives. Tobi joined in, whispering a heartfelt prayer of thanks. He realized how easily life could be taken for granted and how fragile it truly was. The near-death experience had humbled him, teaching him to appreciate every moment. When Tobi finally arrived home, his mother hugged him tightly. "I prayed for you all day," she said. Her words struck a chord, and he shared the details of his journey with her. His mother listened intently and smiled. "Tobi, this is a lesson for you. Always seek God's protection before you step out. Prayer is like insurance for the unknown." Tobi nodded, understanding her words in a way he never had before. Back at school after the holiday, Tobi shared his experience with his friends, including Connor. "You were right," he admitted. "Praying before a journey can make all the difference." His story inspired many students to take the practice seriously. They started organizing group prayers before traveling, ensuring that everyone felt spiritually prepared for the road ahead. Over time, Tobi became an advocate for prayer, encouraging others to embrace the habit. His near-death experience became a testimony that touched many lives. He also began to see life through a different lens, one filled with gratitude and faith. Tobi's story became a reminder to his peers that prayer wasn't just a ritual but a powerful act of surrendering to a higher power. It wasn't about religion, it was about acknowledging the unpredictability of life and seeking divine guidance. Years later, Tobi, now a successful professional, still carried the lesson with him. He never started a journey without praying, and he instilled the habit in his children. "Life is full of surprises," he often told them. "But prayer can give you peace and protection." His story became a timeless reminder to everyone who heard it. No matter how prepared you think you are, a moment of prayer before traveling can make all the difference. And for Tobi, it was a lesson he would never forget. Subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this story. Like, comment and tell us what you learned from this story.